Hi folks, we're in Nashville, Tennessee at the Summer NAMM show in the Fender booth with a very special guy. I'm here with Shane Nichols and he's going to tell us about the latest legacy Fender amps, and we saw you this morning at the Best of show, and that was a nice demo you did, Shane.
Thank you.
How you feeling today?
Wonderful event. I was impressed with how many people turned out at 8 o'clock in the morning to hear some guitar.
Yeah, well, yeah, people come from all over the world for this show, and Fender, of course, has a big place in my heart because my very first amplifier I bought at Leo's Music Store in Oakland, California. In 1966, I bought a blonde Fender Bandmaster, and I put Electro Voice SROs in that bottom.
That's too heavy. That's way too heavy.
It was heavy. In those days, I could carry it. But I saw not long ago, I played a gig, and they had a special edition Fender Twin that came factory with a 15-inch in it.
Yes.
That was a JBL speaker?
It's actually an amp we did for a while. That was the speaker was made by Eminence, but it was in homage to the old JBL D130, which obviously isn't made anymore.
Right.
So yeah, that's a great amp for steel players. A lot of Gretsch guys.
I love that.
Use those. Yeah.
I was just telling Shane that it's great to see that they have some amplifiers with the 4 inputs, because when we started with the 4-input Bandmasters, we thought because it was called the Bandmaster that the entire band was supposed to plug in there, and we did too.
Yeah, you could do that. Well, luckily today we're able to make stuff that's a lot less heavy than that stuff with the same performance. So you should definitely check these out.
Definitely. Yeah, well, you were getting some great sounds. So now these amps have modeling built into them?
Yeah, it's a fully professional digital modeling product. We've done digital modeling products for a long time, but they've been Mustangs and Champions and lower end amps. This is using a serious amount of processing power, but not to do 200 presets and 80 effects and that. It's to do one thing perfectly, and that is the sound of a Deluxe Reverb and the sound of a Twin Reverb. Mm-hmm. So, can I show you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. So classic Fender tone that everybody loves. Okay. Tremolo. Just like your old Bandmaster or Showman that you had. The reverb is a convolution model reverb with a 12-second decay. And it uses a lot of processing power to get what I call like the little juicy bits that the springs rattling around normally would have. Very much like the old, surf sound or whatever.
Sound like Dick Dale there.
So it'll do those sounds. For people who like to crank their Fender amp up on 10, this does the exact same thing. Turn the reverb off. BB King didn't use reverb. So it's distorting the way the tube power amp would, but that's all modeled, including the interaction with the speaker. Nice. Speaking of speakers, it's a brand new Jensen speaker that we worked with Jensen to devise. It sounds just like the Jensen C12K that comes in the 65 reissue Twin and Deluxe amps, but it has a tiny little neodymium magnet, so it cuts like 4 pounds per speaker out of the weight of the...
So you're using neodymium now.
Exactly.
That's great.
So the combination of you don't have big transformers for the tube amp, you have a pine cabinet, you have neo speakers, all these things add up to amps that are half the weight of the old ones.
Nice.
So if you still want to buy a reissue 65 Twin or Deluxe, we still make them. People are still buying Steinway grand pianos and acoustic drum sets.
What about piggyback amps? Are you making those anymore?
We do have one called a Supersonic that's available in a head and 212. Looks a lot like an old blonde Showman or something.
It's sort of a comfort zone for me because the first time I saw Bob Dylan backed up by the band, and they all had Showmans and dual Showmans, leaned back on the tilt legs, and
you're blessed that you were able to see that, because I am a huge fan of the band. That's impressive.
They're incredible. And I saw them at Winterland too, and I grew up in the Bay Area, but I'm an old Fender man. And I was really lucky when I was coming back from the Musikmesse in Frankfurt in 1988. I worked with Joe Berger, and he was standing over talking to an older gentleman, and he said, "Hammond, come over here, I want to introduce you." And it was Leo Fender. And Leo was there with his wife Phyllis and his business partner Dale Hyatt, you know.
Yep.
And we got to hang out. We were waiting for a TWA flight, so give you an idea how long ago that was.
Yeah.
But for me, that was so amazing to meet Leo Fender. He's changed the world with his products like the Stratocasters, the Telecasters, and the old amplifiers that he made. They were the best then, and they're the best today. You know.
We really hope that if Leo's watching from somewhere, that he's proud of us, because, you know, if people want a hand-wired Tweed amp, or they want a Twin reverb, or any of the classics, we still make them. But Leo never stopped inventing. He kept progressing forward always. And so with an amp like this, which is a tubeless, you know, blackface Fender amp that you can't tell, I think Leo'd be surprised that we're still using vacuum tubes, because he was trying to get away from that.
Well, you did Leo proud, you know, and I really want to thank you for taking the time to show us this stuff. I want to tell you that I see you have so many different varieties of guitars now. One that caught my attention was the Acoustasonic Telecaster that you have now. I had a 1966 Telecaster Custom with the binding and the sunburst.
Yeah,
you know?
great guitar.
But these are beautiful guitars, you know.
They're winning awards. There's some big artists starting to play them. Jack White has one. It's on the new Rack and Tours album. And, you know, they're tools for musicians. It's a tool to do something, to make music. And, you know, we're at a musical instrument event here, but none of us would be here if we didn't love music. And so when you see artists adopting the new gear and doing something with it, that's like the best thing of all.
Yeah, well, it's really been a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you for showing us this fine line of products. And are you down in Scottsdale?
I work in Scottsdale, yeah. I'm developing amps.
Well, if you see my old friend Richard McDonald, tell him howdy and enjoy his well-earned retirement. And I want to come down and visit you in Scottsdale sometime, see what you're doing there.
Well, let me know and we'll give you a tour.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shane.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, bye-bye now.